Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell. I woke up late, still enough time to go for a run, and when I got back, I wrote another letter to Judge Furse. In that letter, I reminded her of I didn't actually come out and say I knew. I said I would hate to hear or find out that she got terminated. And I pointed out how that would jeopardize my case. And illustrated exactly what happened because of her getting terminated. She took off the whole month of December. That delay in approving my motion for service of process allowed the defendant, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to cut off advertising payments to the evaluator back in my 2008 case, which is the compromat that the defendant, the church, is using to keep me under control. I never went to trial on that case. It was specifically designed not to take me to trial because the charges were false. But they had to be extreme in order to justify having me disappear from society and sealing the case against me, etc., etc. And so I reminded the judge of this, that this is the type of criminal tactics used by the defendant as other criminal organizations use. And I pointed out her situation of getting terminated for allowing Gaddy versus the COP, the church, to continue and proceed. And that's when the Salt Lake Tribune, I noticed that article, I did that other video where I found out about it and was going over it with you live. I was like, oh man, they terminated her because they allowed the case to proceed, because they were going to accept her and let her continue to be a judge until after she allowed that case to proceed. And so of course they don't say that's why they're terminating her. They instead said, years ago you allowed a guy on a possession charge to go to drug court, and he skipped out and then turned violent. And therefore, because of his actions, you're terminated. Completely lame, but that's compromat. That's how it works. You don't have to be guilty of anything. You just have to have something on you that they hold as leverage against you to either have you conform and comply, or you're gone. If you go up against them or the organization that they're protecting. In this case, it's the church, state of Utah. And so because of her termination, Judge Waddups, who is the overseer of my case, assigned my case in the preliminary phase to Judge Furse, knowing she was terminated, knowing that it's against the church of which he himself is loyal to, giving the protection money to, compromised to. And so this was Judge Furse's reminder threat: dismiss his case, maybe we'll let you keep your job. Maybe. it's highly unlikely, but they always dangle it out there. Remember, this is why you got terminated. So they're sort of rubbing it in to her. And Salt Lake Tribune pointed out no judge has ever been terminated. None. And she's a female judge on top of that. They tried to emphasize that. And they made it clear she was set to continue to keep her job until after she accepted the church's, or the case against the church with Gaddy v. CLP. And so what that means is that termination is now further compromat against Judge Treese in my case, because she will be forced to dismiss my case, and if she doesn't, if she allows my case also, the defense will then motion for a dismissal or a recusal based upon the compromat that she has now. I still have a plan in place to protect myself and my case. Don't worry about that. But this is the danger of having a criminal organization running a whole state. It's just a nightmare, as the people are subjected to the tortures and abuses under such a tyrannical reign. And it filters all the way down to the bottom, as everybody must conform and comply and protect and defend the organization who runs the state. And so my current environment is also attempting to get me to conform and comply, or many people have already been replaced as new people are put in constantly to again try to get me to conform and comply. This all goes back to the compromat that the state of Utah has on me from the 2008 case. That's why the lawsuit is against the church for the 2008 case. Is because everything that's going on right now against me is all because of that 2008 case. And so my life is on the line, literally. As the bishop that I had, he succeeded in kicking me out of the church. And so he was promoted with an extension of 6 months before he finally got replaced. And of course, nothing was done to him. The mayor, he succeeded. You know, he put in the police department with the officer who threatened me and squashed all my complaints. And so I can't call 911 anymore. So if there's somebody who, you know, wants to protect and defend the church by coming to kill me, I'd have no one to call for help to. And so that's where the mayor succeeded against me. And my property manager, they've had to replace a few property managers, but this latest one has succeeded. My air unit got mold because they refused to clean it. It has to be cleaned or it doesn't work properly. And this summer, the hottest year on record, wasn't working. And I had the mold breathing problems. I can't breathe. I literally can't breathe. You know, you need to breathe in order to live. But they considered it not an emergency. They were in no rush to fix the problem, so I went the whole summer and into the fall with no cleaning of the air unit. My life was jeopardized by the property manager. That's the kinds of conditions that the church forces their compromated Mormons, or those who are compromated because they need to be loyal to the church. You don't have to be Mormon to be compromised. If you want to live in Utah, if you want to work in Utah, you must give loyalty to the church, whether you're a Mormon or not. If you're not a Mormon, Mormons will hold it against you if you turn on them. That's how I hear it constantly, and even I experienced it as a Mormon coming to Utah. Everybody's friendly at first. Everybody says, "Welcome to Utah. Oh, it's so great to hear you. Want to come to church?" "Oh, no, thank you. I don't believe in your religion." "Oh, you're an enemy." That's how it works. And life gets miserable for you when you turn on the church. And you don't have to actually turn, you just have to be somebody different. Somebody who doesn't want to be a part of it. And all of a sudden, you are now an enemy. If you are not with us, you are against us. That's how it works. And what used to be the sweet, kind, loving neighbors all of a sudden turns into hell on earth. And so that's Utah. This is what Trump is turning America into. This is the danger we all face. And so, if I can't win this case, if I can't get it to be accepted so that the church gets gets my complaint, because I can't afford $100 to have somebody else deliver it to them. And so I don't know. All I have to do is get it delivered, because I already have it planned that once the lawyers submit something other than a plea of no contest, I will immediately thrash them. But they'll have 30 days after the final approval from the judge to have the U.S. Marshals deliver the case to them. So this is what we're faced against, and hopefully she'll allow the case to proceed. But we'll see. I pointed out to her, her delay for the whole month of December allowed the defendant to try to cover up the case by covering up that they've been paying the evaluator from the 2008 case. That's bad news for them, but that's what happens when judges have compromat over them. And I pointed it out to the judge that yes, she may have been terminated, but that's no excuse to quit doing her job in these last few months, because it's jeopardizing my case. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully today I'll see something happen so that we can get this fixed this week.